Join in this episode of Fix It with Matt Gray All Day. My name is Matt, and on this episode of Fixing with Matt Gray All Day, like what the episode's called, Johnny, quit your popping. What's the issue? Let's find out. So, many probably know about this mower I was talking about, probably the first one I'll be working on in 2024, and this John Deere L120. So, the customer, the owner said that, I guess he gave it to me and he said something about it's making a popping noise. And supposedly when he dropped it off, I tried to start it up just to see if I could get running. Won't even start. So we're going to dig deep and find out what the issue is. So I dug a little bit, opened the hood up. This is a 20 horse intake, V-twin, Briggs & Stratton. But I wanted to dig deep a little bit. And I think one main issue too would be this corrosion right there, but it shouldn't affect it that bad. So one thing I looked at was it was an old John Deere battery from 2013. So I ended up getting a battery I usually had in my backup mowers in case I'm doing a lot of my brother usually helps me mowing. So I got my one from 2022 and it kind of helped. So I tried to start it up. Right now it's doing a click noise turned on, but I already know it's good because I already fixed the problem with it. So right there, this little puppy right here, this is a new one. I just changed it out. So that little puppy right there is your solenoid. This is the old one I pulled off the John Deere L120 because it was making a click noise every time it was trying to start. And one way you can do it, one way to test if it's your issue, you can take your battery terminal and you could touch it right to your starter one, and it should turn that starter right over. If it does that, it is your solenoid that's doing it. And mostly it's a bypass. You have to have a good battery to do it. I did it test. A lot of people say it's dangerous to do it. Yes, it can be dangerous because it sparks. Another issue too, it could be the key ignition. It could be a little dirty. That one was a little bit dirty. I already cleaned it up, so it wasn't that. It was a solenoid, so I changed the solenoid out, and it turned over pretty good. So I want to go more in depth a little bit about the solenoid, starters, key ignitions, all that kind of stuff. So one thing about solenoid is it's kind of like your relay, kind of a relay sensor, kind of like a computer, or kind of like going on the World Wide Web or something like that. Kind of like your telephone. You're trying to call somebody. Hey, man, hey, Johnny, what's going on? Yo, what's going on? And it's going ding, ding, ding. It goes right to here, and it goes to another destination. That's what your solenoid is. And your solenoid would be connected, like one of the prongs would be connected to your battery, your key ignition. Your key ignition might be connected to the front prongs. There's like two-way prongs to the front. You'll have one that's probably connected, like the battery would be connected to one side. The opposite side would be connected to your starter. And the best way, that's actually a way to best tell if, your starter might be locked up, you might need a new starter, or you might just need a new solenoid, which is a lot cheaper than a starter. Starter is at least $60, $80, but solenoids, they're probably only $9, $10, or $13. I don't know. How inflation is, this video is recorded in 2024, and I bought a new solenoid for like $10 on Amazon, but I don't know how long it lasts. Disassemble this cover, the air filter. I want to make sure that it's cleaned up inside, because if it's not cleaned up inside, we might have an issue with the head. Try starting fluid, but mostly carb cleaner. Just put a little bit, not much. And if I can get it turned over, there you go. The guy told me it's making that popping noise. But on low throttle, don't make it, except one side. I kind of got down deep a little bit. I wanted to investigate because I know the right side of the V-twin 20 horse Briggs & Stratton, that head was already replaced, which is pretty good. That's kind of the cheaper side because that head's usually about $160 online. This side, on the other hand, is the original one. But it doesn't look, I mean, it can be iffy. You never know what you can get into. So I was able to figure out how to fix it. But I'll explain what the issue was. Because how the issue was, I'm glad it saved me, because it saved me about $300 on this deal of how to fix it. Which this mower it's a good mower. I love to figure out stuff before buying all these random parts, and you end up having more money in the mower than even worth. So what happened was, I pulled the rocker cover off, and I found, so the top one is your intake valve, the bottom one's your exhaust one. So red is exhaust, clear is intake. Well, supposedly it smoked like a son of a gun when starting it up. I was able to get started up, but it was popping like crazy. Pop, 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 pop. So I opened it up. I knew something was up with it. So I opened it up, and the top one, the intake one, was pretty good. It just needed adjusted. But the bottom, and it's aluminum push rod. The bottom one is a steel push rod. And here's your example of what I found when I opened it up. A bent push rod. Well, you're probably figuring out what it was. What it was, so down here by the exhaust one, this valve right here was stuck. So what I did was, if one's stuck, you could try to take a hammer at it. Well, I tapped it right in the middle. So right there, I tapped it with the hammer, just tapped it, just to loosen it up, because supposedly old gas can build it. So right there, it's kind of a lot old oil, but mostly from old gas. If you have old gas in your tank, it can backfire from the universal fuel pump to, I've seen it before where that one down below, it's a steel push rod. It'll bend. And if you hear a popping noise, that is what your issue is. So when doing a valve adjustment, step one, need a feeler gauge. Don't matter if it says made in China or what. Oh, you just need a feeler gauge. And for these valves, there's your intake and your exhaust. So the one I've been having an issue right now on this L120 John Deere 2004 was, I was having a problem with the exhaust one. Supposedly the valve. So these right here are your valves. Valve springs, valves. These are your push rods. And how to adjust it, you have your nut right here, and you have your, like, I think it's like the valve screw that helps adjust it. So you want to loosen this up, tighten this up. You want to hold this with your wrench, and you want to take your feeler gauge. So on these feeler gauge, it's going to be shining like crazy. There's so many different ones, like 35, 18, 30. It's hard one hand. And let me find it. So like 12, 8. So boom, chikalaka. 0.004, 4 thousandths. So we're gonna try to get one of these top dead center. So right there. So the intake's at top dead center. So I'm gonna readjust this, check it. Yep, it's right on top dead center. You just want to double check to make sure, you know, it's kind of freely a little bit. So I'm gonna move it again. So there we go. And then we're gonna check this, make sure. I already did these already. So really it's top dead center, because you can look right here, if I can get to it. You can see I got the feeler gauge right at it, and it's got a little bit of wiggle. I might tighten up just a tad bit, but not much. But you know what? If you can see inside there, you can see where the push rods go in. There's like little bitty like presses back there by the heads, the cylinder head. So luckily, I found out figuring out what the heck is wrong with this mower, which is really a blessing, because I didn't know what the heck was wrong with it. I didn't want to go buy a $268 head and just realize it was just a stuck valve, and all it needed was a tap with the hammer, and then just needed the valves adjusted. Another thing I forgot to add when talking about this video was, there was more issues than I had. It was the solenoid going out, the push rod. Well, another thing too is I had to buy a new carburetor. So I sprayed some starting fluid in there. A little bit of starting fluid. sprayed it in there and it ran for a couple seconds. Well, there's an issue with that. If it runs for a couple seconds, it quits. You have one of your high or low jet, or even you might have your bowl might have water, or might be bad gas got in your carburetor. It probably bypassed the fuel filter to the fuel pump and just pumping something bad in your gas tank or your fuel pump. So I changed that out, and I bought a 40-hour kit. It comes with everything. Comes with all new gaskets, the new fuel pump. I'm gonna change that out. I'm thinking about it. I might do it because it comes with the kit. New fuel filter, brand new fuel filter, brand new gaskets, an oil filter. I'm thinking about doing an oil filter to it. I actually changed out the spark plugs on this thing because the old spark plugs were practically burned out. So I changed those out to A and B spark plug, high quality. It came with the kit. Plus, it comes with a new air cleaner. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. For 40 bucks, I mean, an air cleaner is probably 10 bucks, 15 bucks. Oil filter is about $5. I mean, you just add all that up. It's like, dang, you're getting a good deal. So I just want to make this mower new again. And you can keep it maintained. Your mower or your equipment will last a long time if you maintain it. To the conclusion, we have fixed the popping noise. It's kind of like a new mower. So I was able to get the morning horse all good. Got all the plastic back on. No more popping noise, man. I'm loving this. Got the new fuel pump on, new filter. It helps it out with every issue. Thank you for staying tuned to Fixing with Matt Gray All Day, the first ever episode of Johnny, quit your popping. What's the issue with this John Deere L120 with its popping noise? You know, why it's losing power. Because when you got some stuck valves, you can lose pressure pretty quick. It'll only have half the power. You're only running half the cylinder. You're only running one cylinder, the other one, because it's a twin cylinder, it's not a single cylinder, it's a two cylinder, so it'll be twin, and only one cylinder is running. So we were able to figure that out with figuring out it had a stuck valve. We were able to take a hammer and get the valve loosened to at least work again. It sounds like new again. So I'm thinking about taking, look, the old John Deere right here. If you're watching the entire video, you're probably thinking, what the heck's this Johnny deal? You get it? John Deere. So I'm gonna take little Johnny right here for a little test drive. You know, she sounds pretty good. So I'm gonna put choke on. Let's take her for a ride. So thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment if you want to see more about different stuff. I have so many projects and so many things. I have so many projects and so many different things I want to post on this YouTube video. Actually, this YouTube channel. Sorry, my mistake. I am not really good at talking to people, or talking to myself right through that camera. But I want to say thank you for watching this fantastic, hopefully a good video. And have a great day, and hopefully this helps you out. If you ever come with that issue with a bent push rod or a stuck valve or running really weird with a popping noise. Luckily, little John Deere right here is L120 in 2005. My gosh, he's going to make one fine mower now. The guy that had it, he's really boxed down all that stuff, and hey, she mows, she grinds, so I'm going to take her for a drive even if it's dark out night. I got a little headlight, I got to replace both bulbs, but my gosh, I'm going to take her for a ride. So, thank you for watching, and have a great day. Like, subscribe, comment below if you want to know more about it. If you want to say, hey, I want to know about this, I want to know about that. Or hey, I might put an update video pretty soon of what different projects that I'm thinking about going for. Because I got so many new projects please to get conquered. So stay tuned and have a fantastic day.